to another episode of Weekly Dad. With me today is
Gomer,
B-Man,
Kryptonite Kyle,
and Matt Tastic.
I'm Lawrence of America as usual. So, what
episode was this?
This
10.
was 11. It was 11. Episode 11.
11.
Rick
Wow.
under the bed was really like.
I was like, oh no! Come on, Rick! Come on!
It really scared
and then
me.
they did it again.
Yeah,
And then did it again.
yeah. But he
What?
really should
Yeah,
have
they
gotten
really drew that out a
They
lot,
drew
didn't they?
out,
Yeah.
dude.
It was repetitive.
But the problem I had with it was they sort of set it against the very exciting whole Glennon party deal, and that part was kind of boring compared
Well,
to what was going on with Rick.
Well,
And it was
Glenn
simple.
had to happen.
Uh-huh.
At some point, his character has to go look for Maggie. Okay.
But
I
Abraham
get
was
that,
right.
but I really felt that this just was an excuse to get them out of the house. I thought, well, fuck, how... I watched that episode. I saw writers in a room going, fuck, what are we going to
Yeah.
do?
They're
Oh,
cozy.
no,
They're cozy.
yeah,
in
they're
here.
cozy, they're warm, they like it. Fuck it, send in some crazy people.
And they were like just crazy.
What about zombies?
Random.
No,
Random
we do
guys.
too many
Yeah.
zombies. Just
Didn't
send
know
in
who
crazy
it was.
people.
Was there a zombie
Send in
one in
random
that
hillbillies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Abraham
When they
and
get to the fucking
that
truck
crew,
and the
they
guy-
saw
the guards
zombies,
start shooting them up.
which was an excuse to go, oh, zombies, kill the truck!
Yeah, dude.
I thought that was so stupid. Oh, I want to kill him.
See, that's what
dumbest
kills me about that
character,
character
God.
setup.
Yeah.
Is like again, like and I hate. I'm sorry. I'm that guy. I'm that guy that compares. I'm sorry. But
It's all
I think
right.
with
you have-
those three
you
characters,
have that,
it's okay.
well, exactly though, because you're giving us these archetypes and these characters from the comic books that we grow and love because they're introduced in such a way in the books and in the show itself that you show that this guy's apparently super smart. He's going to DC because he knows how all this stuff happens.
But he's
This
a
guy
dumbass.
says that before he shoots up the truck, and he shoots up the truck and has no emotion. It's like, we should probably go with him because I'm smarter than you, and then walks off. It's an unbelievable,
It's unbelievable.
characteristic.
He's so smart he
This-
can't use
Yeah,
it.
Right,
literally.
right. Now, and now, I did like the line. He goes, how the hell did you do this?
Yeah.
Highly ramped up situation and complete lack of knowledge of automatic firing rifles. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
I
Like,
thought that
that's-
was a good line.
I thought
but-
that was a good
Here-
excuse. in
Here's
my
the
opinion,
problem,
really.
though, and this is coming from somebody who's not up to date at this point with the comics. So watching it strictly as a show,
I hear you.
you
man.
have me a
I'm on it.
character who apparently, and again, I don't know if it's something that doesn't translate well to film, but you have him give this ridiculous line like, we're going to DC to save the world. And then you have him go, he can't shoot the gun, but then 2 seconds later, he's fine shooting down a bunch of zombies, and then he goes, I'm smarter than you are.
Yeah, especially
when he
when
kills a
Abraham
truck.
showed
It's
up
the
next
most
to him.
convenient way to go to a next
It's just
episode.
awkward.
It
It
was awkward.
makes
Right,
these three
right.
characters
This whole
seem
episode
weird.
was really
dude.
odd.
Yeah, literally.
One thing that they
Yeah.
did at this point, like, nobody said, what the fuck? Now, Glenn just woke up, and the
Right.
girl was like that, we need that, what the fuck, why should we listen to you moment. And I think we're going to get that eventually, if we don't get that when they meet up with other people, because now they're all going to this mysterious town.
Indeed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
But the Ford and them aren't. They're not heading there.
Who?
Well, maybe they will now that their truck's
is it?
broken. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
Well,
going there.
they will. They
Yeah,
will
there's
because
no
they'll
other place
backtrack to where
around.
the bus is, and then
And
from the
they'll
bus you'll
find
get to the
that,
railroad
and
tracks.
they'll be like, oh,
'Cause-
well, they'll go there.
Yeah, because
definitely.
that's generally where they're going to go. I mean, the last scene really wraps that up for us
Yeah.
when Rick and Carl and Michonne are walking
See
away,
the sign.
and then they look, and at first you're like, "Wait, what are they seeing?" Because it
Yeah.
looks kind of terrifying.
I thought they were going to jump on the train.
You know,
Well,
like
you know,
something's
no,
gonna
no,
go, yeah,
well,
right.
that's the-
And then
here's
you look
the
up
other
and you see
thing.
the banner. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, welcome," and they look over and they go, "Yeah, we're gonna try it," and then they go.
Yeah.
Like you know, everyone's gonna get there to that point
Yeah.
because
And
of
I
this,
thought that was a good-
I'm still
foreshadowing.
wondering how they're going to bring Daryl back into the fold.
Yeah, he
this
was
was
totally
a
gone.
Daryl-free episode.
And that's the thing.
Sorry, fangirls.
Yeah, literally.
And let me talk about that a little bit. It sort of seems like they're doing that thing that TV shows do once they get popular, and to save money, they write episodes like this where some of the cast is not in the episode, so they don't have to
Absolutely.
pay that guy for an
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's okay. But
Well-
everyone loves Daryl, and he really should have been.
Hold
Well,
on,
here's the
Hold
thing.
on, though.
You
I-
can't make salary demands on a show where you can kill anybody.
Exactly.
You're right,
else.
but-
Yeah.
Well,
Well, no,
but-
the only
but-
character who might be able to do that is Daryl.
Yeah, but let
Yeah,
me say
or
let me say
actor.
this, okay? Like I'm not gonna get off touch of this show really quickly, but maybe they're going this way. This is why I say that. Show of the Vampire Diaries is strong for about 4 seasons, and close to the end of the 3rd season, going into the 4th season, you introduce these characters, Klaus and his whole family. They're so popular. Their characters are so popular within this series that now they have their own branch off of them doing their own shit. Maybe they'll go that way. Maybe that's why they're doing these kind
Well-
of things for Daryl to go off on his own, because he's so
You
popularized.
mean like a spin-off show?
Exactly.
Oh,
well,
okay.
because they're
Well,
already
they're
doing
already
it.
Yes,
East
they're
Coast.
already
They're already
planning
doing
a
it East Coast. That's
spin-off.
what you
Yeah,
said.
so-
The other time that we talked
Yeah,
about
West
it,
Coast,
but
yeah.
even though they're having that, and like you said, the only way for it to feasibly work in that spectrum is to have like them, the East Coast playing when us, what we're watching now, is not on. You know what I mean? Because that's in the
Oh,
Right,
winter
right.
season.
It's
That's,
off-season,
that's what I
exactly.
could easily see them doing is, okay, the Rick storyline ends, a month goes by, boom, and maybe the Daryl storyline starts.
Well, I'm thinking if they
Well-
do a Daryl spinoff, honestly, the spinoff will probably happen around the same time The Walking Dead does. It'll just be a different night. It won't be Sundays. They'll generate for that. They'll generate for that TV show, for that company,
Yeah.
another night of popular TV demands.
Well, off
Right now,
season,
The
and
Walking Dead's huge.
yeah, and off season is better to get a weekday anyway.
Exactly.
Get more
Very
numbers.
The way I feel is I don't think it constitutes, and again, I'm sorry to bash this episode. It was probably the worst written episode I've ever watched. But
Really?
I don't think that they're going to get a
Really?
spin-off except for what you're saying with the
West
East,
Coast
the
thing.
West Coast
Or
thing.
A totally new cast.
Totally new
Like
cast.
not bring Daryl into it to introduce.
No,
the
I don't
West
think they're
Coast.
gonna do anything
Is that what
with
you were
any of these
suggesting they
characters.
would
No, I
do?
wasn't suggesting. I was just saying, like, those are thought possibilities
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
why
no,
they may
I
be
could get-
having
I mean,
Daryl
yeah.
off on his own.
Yeah.
Because there's many things. One, the characters become so popular, they're trying to wean him off of the show into his own spin-off. That's one reason. Two, like you were saying, they don't want to pay the high-end money
Yeah.
that the actor is. They can't really kill him because he's probably one of the only characters that the show has gotten multiple requests of.
Yes.
If you kill this character, we'll stop
Yeah,
watching
they
the
make
show.
mugs.
You know what I
that
mean?
they'll-
Exactly.
will riot, yeah.
So,
Well,
just a possibility of it.
here's the other thing too. They're going off on their own thing. It's Beth. It's Daryl.
Yeah.
We're still. It's giving us bits and pieces. Like they're not tied to the party yet. So
Yeah.
obviously, this next episode will probably be a pretty Daryl heavy episode.
Well, I think they're going to
Daryl
wait
Bell.
to
It's
get
gonna go
everybody
back
to
to
the town.
somebody else.
They're going to wait
It's
to
gonna
get
go back to
everybody to town.
Tyrese and
Now,
Carol.
Hey, I like that. That's an
I really
enjoyable
think either they're going
aspect.
to stumble across the railroad track. Here's the other
Well,
thing.
Daryl's tracking everything too.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he go back and just track everything there and just hunts them all down? Do we
That
think
sounds like him.
Beth and Daryl are going to hook up at any point?
Nah, I
I don't know.
That
the
looks
longer
like
they
it's the-
stay out that way.
It looks like it's the furthest thing from Daryl's mind. Dude.
Yeah.
He just looks like he is just.
He just giving up.
He-
a little
yeah,
bit.
he was
literally
really-
looks weakened.
Yeah.
After our second video
Uh,
about it, we were basically like,
Wait,
what happened to Daryl?
Yeah.
Are we seeing the writers trying to weaken the fan love of Daryl?
I don't know.
I
honestly
don't know
think
about that.
The
don't think
main
you can.
thing, one of the reasons they're doing this, I think everyone is missing, is they're milking the show. They're stretching it out as far as
Oh,
possible.
you're right.
You're right.
And yeah,
You're right
maybe
about
it's
that.
something to do with money, whatever. But the
Yeah.
fact is they go, everyone's watching this. Here's the most boring episode you've ever seen, and people are going to watch it regardless.
Yeah,
That's
just
exactly
so they
what they're
can
doing.
see a
They did
really
that-
good episode.
So we were just saying something about the rant of Abraham and Rosita and all
Rose,
them.
is it Rosalita?
Rosita.
Okay, I just wanted to
Rosita?
make sure because I'm not
Rosita.
good with names.
I'm calling her Rose.
I'm calling her
I,
hot.
and I will say this, yeah,
Hot.
Yeah,
the
you're right.
best
You're
part
right,
of that
Olin.
episode
You're right.
was that eye candy, because my goodness.
I wish she'd smile
Jesus.
more.
She's a little angry.
Yeah, she's a little.
But she
pissed
sounds
off,
so
pouty.
soft, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna kill you.
So
I wonder what she puts in her hair.
I know.
we all agree
say that
the
shit?
writing is just been seemed kind of lazy.
Flimsy.
God.
A very obvious excuse. Let's just get these characters out.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of this episode where it's been expanded, it seems, or this season. I think this whole episode, the whole Rick part of this episode could have been taken care of last episode. When,
But I really liked it.
Michonne and Rick were like, what's the plan now? Rick could have just said, well, I guess we should move on.
But then you miss all
And
that.
they left.
All that suspense.
Yeah,
of
but-
Rick under the bed.
All that
And
tension.
killing some
yeah,
guy on
literally.
the can. And
It had moments
hiding in
though.
the bushes.
I'm with-
It definitely
I'm
had
with him.
moments when I
I'm with
was
him.
like,
it had
oh.
moments. It had
It really
moments.
Right,
Yeah.
it was, and, you
It
know,
had
I mean,
moments.
the if it was just the bed part, and then
Yes,
he would have like
exactly.
snuck out the window, then
Yeah, it did go a little.
It would've been
Ned
epic.
killed the guy,
But,
went
yeah,
out the window.
it was
Yeah,
like
sure. That's enough.
four
Why he stretched
rooms
it
he
out.
hid. And, you know, it's like he's like, now he's over here. Where's Rick?
It was like,
Go!
it was like Metal Gear
he's in
Solid.
the kitchen.
It's like Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that if he got in the box real quick and just kinda
Right.
Yeah.
started.
Just a great appears of nowhere. He's like peeking behind it.
That's awesome.
But he
Picking
has
up
an
rations and
automatic
stuff.
weapon now. They're basically running for their life.
Yeah.
I mean, did those people serve a purpose, and are they really coming back, or
No,
was
but
that
I-
just get out of the house?
Although
I
that
think
one,
it was just get out.
although
of
the
the
I
house.
think it's just getting
honestly
them out
think
of the
that
house.
they're part of
Although-
the town. Honestly,
Oh,
am I
really?
the only one? Well, here's
No,
my
I
thinking
didn't.
behind that.
Yeah,
because
I was
you're
saying that.
introducing a character, you're giving actual FaceTime to these people.
yeah.
And
They
if you
didn't
would,
give
it-
FaceTime to him.
They would give.
You doubted
They
the
gave,
graphic.
That
they gave
old man
FaceTime
on
to
the
the guy.
porch,
They
on the
gave
patio,
FaceTime
on
to
the
the guy
porch.
on the porch.
And he looked
which
familiar.
He's the mayor of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's
He's
a
awesome.
well-known actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're
That
not
guy
gonna
from that
have-
one thing.
He
kinda
might
actor.
come back.
Yeah.
Fair
He
enough.
dies in all those
The
movies.
one thing
yeah.
happens to be Sons of Anarchy, which is super popular. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, you give him FaceTime, and even though it is shorter lived, the guy that gets choked out from the bed, you give him FaceTime little bits. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And from that point, you are not going to give FaceTime to characters that you're never going to see again. Generally.
Not
Like the guy sitting
Not-
on the toilet.
well,
maybe.
Yeah.
Not entirely true, but again, in the first part of the series itself, in the first episodes, like first season,
Mhm.
they do that to show that there's a mass amount of people here
Yeah.
that they can pull from, and their numbers are dwindling. We've already gone through that. There's no reason for them to do that again, other than to show us characters they want to. It's a foreshadowing effect
Yeah.
when you're dealing with writing. Everyone here knows that.
Mhm.
So because of that, that's where they're going to go. That's the whole reason why we have weak episodes
Yeah.
like this.
There was no-
like we talked about while we were having technical difficulties. We're not all going to get 10s. It's going
Yeah.
to be a 3. It's going to be a 3 episode and an 8 episode, and then a
God
5
forbid
episode
it
There
be
was no
consistent.
and a
reason.
2 episode.
There was no reason
I'm
to
just
show
saying.
that guy on the porch to show his face.
Well,
Yeah.
Unless he's gonna come back. You
Yeah,
can have the same
honestly,
effect from
uh,
the waist down.
the writing seems a little disconjointed.
I'm not going to
Flimsy.
disagree with that.
It's really
I'm not going to
flimsy.
disagree with
I
that.
mean, I'm not saying flimsy, but it seems like okay. Remember that game? If you ever had to do it in your English class or whatever, we had this game where you'd write like 4 lines of it,
Right.
and they would cover up the first 2. I mean, and sometimes it was 2 paragraphs, but you only saw the last couple of lines,
And you had
and
to pass
boom,
it off.
here, go on,
Yeah.
and just keep going and going and
Yeah, yeah,
going.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a modified form of telephone.
and we
Right,
kind of
and it kind of feels like that's how they wrote this season.
yeah,
so
and
far.
we kind of talked about it. I'm not gonna say that they don't know where they're going, but
right, it's
I
obvious they're trying to get everybody.
I think
trying
that's
to
the
get, but I think
problem.
it's bits and pieces that they're just like. Well,
I
mean,
think that's the
just-
problem. Is they
we
do
what
know
we're
where
gonna
they're
do.
going. They want to get somewhere. They're just not really sure the best way to get there.
do it.
They're taking the wrong path.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
honestly think. I mean, we were talking about this before. You had said it actually before we were on break a second ago. Was the fact that it's lazy writing, and this is
Yes.
why it's lazy writing.
Definitely.
Because I think they had a set of what they wanted to do, and they put that down on paper and realized shortly after putting it down on paper that, hey, oh my God, we don't have enough episodes to fill out. We're missing like 2 episodes, really. So how are we going to get that back? Well, by elongating certain things and focusing on stuff, we can write character building
Yeah.
moments in, which is what we've seen a couple episodes this season.
True.
And we saw it a couple
Michonne.
episodes last season.
Yeah.
We all agreed last season that the 2 episodes where the governor comes back and tries to redeem himself as a person
were bad.
was bullshit.
Yeah, it was not good.
bullshit.
Literally.
Every
I
one of us.
understand what they were trying
You know
to
what I mean?
do, but it
we
wasn't.
do get it, but it was done terribly
Yes,
wrong.
Yes, it wasn't
And
communicated.
it could have
well
been
at all.
done in a different way, like you were saying. They could have condensed those episodes into a
Yeah.
one shorter one, and then shown us the taking of the prison. They're doing the same thing this season with us on that.
Just getting to
They're
the house.
giving us,
Or the
just
town.
getting to the town.
Yeah.
They're showing you these elongated character building moments where they want you to feel for the character and understand, I guess, in a way, where they're driving them towards the end of this season. But it's too little, too late in a way. Like they need to condense, like you were saying last season, those episodes into shorter versions and continue on with the
They're
story.
milking it.
I just
They are
don't know
milking
how
it.
you can understand
They
a
are milking
character who is hot 1 second and cold literally 2 minutes later. Like Michonne going crazy, killing
Well,
a bunch
like-
of zombies in the woods, and now she's eating crazy cheese and talking about getting candy bars and laughing it up.
Yeah.
It's terrible,
I mean,
man.
Carl
It's
too,
bad.
But
Carl
it's like
too,
she
though,
hit
in a
rock
way.
bottom and came up,
Carl,
and I sort of see
no,
that.
no,
but
You're
it
right.
was
He's even
rapidly
putting on the
done.
balcony,
Well,
and
it's
then he's
not
like,
even,
"No, I'm good."
It's not even putting on the balcony
I'm
on that
good.
episode. Let's look at it this episode. Like he's walking and kicking rocks, and she's like, "Oh, crazy cheese," and he's like, "No, I don't want to talk. I want to be brutish." And then she's like, "Well, I had a kid. You had a kid? Oh, I want to ask all these questions.
Yeah.
I want to be all up in your business.
Search
I'm
your
super
room
happy
and
like I used
answer
to be."
questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like it's
Really, I don't see them giving me anything I didn't know wasn't going to happen. I knew they were going to leave the prison. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're meeting Abraham.
But is that
All
because
right.
you read the comics, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The meeting of Abraham, I wouldn't have known that without reading the comics.
Right.
Yeah.
Them leaving the prison,
Of course.
okay.
yeah, sure.
That's
We knew
kind of
that
the
was
next step.
coming.
That's
the
next step.
Sure.
We knew that was coming. They knew you knew the fight with the governor and all that.
Right.
You know, all that was coming because they never answered those things. The governor's out there. He's gonna come
Well,
and
as
fight.
soon as they had a
They
governor
could've-
episode, you knew it was going to come
Right.
to a
Oh yeah,
head.
yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So you knew the governor was going to come eventually. So this is all. It was so predictable, so blasé, and now okay, they're all. You know, they lost. They're moving on. You know, I
Do you,
mean,
do you also
eh.
think it's weird that Rick can't take out the governor, but he can take out like kind of a bigger area
I thought that
looking
was
dude
so
in the
dumb.
bathroom? I mean,
I was
really?
like, you got your ass kicked.
Yeah.
You surprised
in the
them
last
both.
episode of the last
You're still not
season.
healed up. You've been napping this season.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Again,
You
it's
were
just
wheezing
it's so
the last
convenient.
couple of
It's very
episodes. You were like,
convenient,
Carl, don't go near the door. Knockout.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess ultimately the question is like, what do you expect to happen next? I mean, and not from reading the comics, kind of from what the show. I mean,
Right,
yeah, we
right.
can compare.
I'll just go
Yeah.
with the show. I mean, I really think that what I want to happen, literally, I want them to cover a little bit more on Tyrese and Carol a little bit. Kind of, to see if she's going to tell Tyrese about what happened in the prison.
Right, right.
And, of course, I want them to get to this freaking town that they keep talking about. But at the same time, I want them to do what they need to do, stop holding back with all the character development. Because like y'all said, basically, we don't need it no more.
We don't
Yeah.
need to
we
know
don't
Michonne
want
had
it.
a kid.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could have had that a long time
I
ago.
actually liked
I do too.
them adding the little bit of backstory like that. I really liked that.
It
scene.
humanized
I mean,
her
I
a
do
little.
too. but I would
how
like
they
to
did it
see-
and everything.
But I would
just-
like to see a backstory episode. Why not? I mean, you can go and do an episode where there's like memories of everybody, kind of like Lost, a little bit
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's just
Oh, like back
humanizing
before the
characters.
apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
be cool with that.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then
why
let
not?
that be your filler episodes, not these
There you
that we're
go.
getting.
Yeah,
Sure,
where
there
there's
you go.
stuff
I'll agree
that
with
needs
that.
to happen, it needs to move
Yeah.
on.
Because
Sure.
you
I
could
agree
fill
with that. You're
those,
holding
make them
us back.
entertaining, and then take all this crap that we're having and condense it, like we were saying,
Right.
and
right.
make a more robust episode.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, there's
Exactly.
just not enough going
Meat,
on.
there's
with
not
the
enough meat
characters
on the
to
bone.
keep me
No.
entertained.
Yeah.
And there's less
in
walkers
TV
on top of
format.
that.
But we're still gonna watch next week's episode, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah, of course. Why not?
Everyone in America's going
You know,
to.
here's-
You
it's my
gotta see
prediction
what happens.
for-
I mean, Daryl's in it.
Yeah, my prediction for next week, it's going to be almost all Beth and Daryl
all the way.
Tyrese,
Majority,
Tyrese
yeah.
I
and
think
Carol.
It might be
Tyrese and Carol. I
Tyrese and
honestly
Carol.
think Tyrese and Carol will find the town.
I do
at the
too.
end of this
Yeah, I
next
do
episode.
too. They are ahead of the
Next
pack,
episode.
literally.
Well, I mean, if you think about how Daryl finds all of their stuff, and time has passed when he finds them, and then they do a time jump when it goes to Tyrese
Yeah.
and the kids, and they've already found Carol, and the guy got bit, and he's kind of walking around because he hasn't fallen down and turned yet. And he's like, "Follow the tracks, and he walks off. You know what I mean?
Deus
And see, that
And
doesn't
then
make
they-
me think that it's like cannibalism, as we were,
I
alluding
think
to.
it-
That,
well,
that
here's-
just seems sincere.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but here's why I think it's going to be cannibalism. Okay, because pretty much since
Strictly
the
from
first,
comics.
well, it's not even being from the comics. Look at it from a show
From
standpoint.
a show, when
no,
is cannibalism even a
because
concern?
that what is in your mind from the first season, every place that they've gone to has been a beacon of hope, and they've held on to that hope for a while, even if it is a small while, just to be dashed by something.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
agree with
going
that.
to happen again.
Like, literally.
What else can you have? We're at the CDC. Everything's going to be great. Nope, it's a
Blows
ticking
up.
time bomb. Time to go.
Blows
Okay? Oh my gosh, we found this town. Oh wait, the town happens to have things in it. We got to go. Oh, we found this prison.
There's always
Prison's
something,
fantastic.
yeah.
What happens? It's the governor. It's people. Every single time they find a place, it's people that ruin it towards the end because of their own character traits, of their
Yeah.
own
Right.
building blocks.
Right, literally.
So because of that, what's the logical next step? Showing
Not
a town.
cannibalism.
I think it is though, because you have blatant signs saying, "Come to this town where you will be safe." If no one's ever seen these signs before, like we talked about, they were traveling through last season. They were
Yeah.
traveling all around the prison
Michonne was
and
all
didn't
over
find
even
any,
this season.
any
She
of
was
that
all
stuff.
over.
So if they didn't find any of that stuff, then it seems to me that it's a desperate plea to get people back to their camp. Why? Because they need
'Cause they're
some
hungry.
food is source.
Here's the
I'm
thing
just
that
saying.
doesn't make sense to me with the show. And yes, there are certain things that you can't show, but a giant element to the story itself, comic and show, is showing people, and people really are the villains. We've said that before.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're not going to show me. You're gonna flirt with the idea of suicide, but you're not going to show people take their own life, which was a huge thing in the comics.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
But then you're going to go to an extreme like cannibalism. Show me more problems with people instead of going to an
Yeah.
extreme first. That's what I want to see.
I just think it's too
I
easy
mean-
to grow crops. They were doing it at that shitty prison, growing
Yeah.
crops. If they have a lot of people there, it's like, well, man, I got like some
Yeah.
fruit over here I'm growing. I'm
Yeah.
not going to eat
It
my,
takes like
my
2
buddy
days to
Bob
grow.
over here, you
but
know,
you're-
Bob stew.
You're watching a TV show where it shows people that are undead eating other people that are
Yeah.
alive. It's not a far stretch
The
to
little
see
No,
blonde
and
someone
that's
girl,
not-
else
that's not
alive
what-
blonde girl's already
eating
there.
someone else.
That little blonde girl's already
Yeah.
there.
That's
So-
not what I'm saying
exactly.
about not being able to
already.
show.
Exactly.
It's not a
far
a
step.
long trip.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
and I'm not saying that it's not you can't show cannibalism.
No,
I'm
I'm just
saying
saying-
show me more of a human element that's subtle, people taking their own life,
Yes.
people being really corrupt in other ways besides just being an evil dictator.
Instead of jumping
Don't
the
go
shark.
to an
It's
extreme.
almost jumping the shark.
Don't go to an extreme
little
of
bit.
cannibalism so
Well,
quick. I'm
but-
sorry.
Once you go
To-
to
in
cannibalism,
their
what's your
eyes-
next? What's your next?
What's your next?
What's your
That's
next
a high bar.
shock?
That's a
you
high
know?
bar.
I mean, the next shock would be, I guess, going and showing showing another type of governor, but him going to the extremes that the governor did not go to.
Yeah.
Him
Like
actually,
what?
him actually raping people. Him
Yeah.
actually holding, like you seen him throw people to the wolves, so to speak, instead of doing
Governor
it
did
because of
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, but honestly, you never see him throw anyone to those zombies. Those zombies are for sport until at the end, after they take his eye, and he decides that it's a justice between brother and brother that need to fight. You never see him do that with anyone
Doesn't
else.
he throw it?
A
Does he throw it at
Citadel-
Glenn after he loses the eye? When Glenn's fending it off with the arm.
No,
of
Yeah,
the
but
chair?
that's in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
trying
not
to
the
get
arena. That's
information.
what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You have these moments of the governor where you still go, okay, yeah, well, he's doing this more for entertainment. He's not completely lost his mind.
Okay, I see
no,
what
the
you're saying.
next step that
He
you
has
have after
murder camps
cannibalism,
to take
I
their
understand
gear.
that, but
That's true,
after
but-
the fact of him losing his eye.
No, before
I'm
that,
saying,
he
Yeah, that
stalked
was his-
Woodbury
Okay,
that was
by
his- fair
killing
enough,
camps
fair
of
enough,
That was
people.
his whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
before.
okay, but you're going to show someone your next step after cannibalism is the more crazy than him just
You
killing
can't-
people to stock a town. It's killing people for the absolute fun of it. It's killing people and raping people and being this evil fuck completely that there is no hope for. Like, you're not going to have the governor moment where you're like, Oh, but he may get his soul may be redeemed.
Yeah.
No.
Again,
Well,
No.
humanizing
Yeah.
a character. It's a
Yeah.
terrible thing to do.
I think so,
in
too.
certain
Final
situations.
thoughts,
They're doing it to Michonne,
ratings?
too. Since I like the Rick part, but the Rick part didn't have a really good ending, I'm gonna only give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. I'm gonna go up it. I'm gonna give it at least a 5. At the
I give it a
next-
5 as well. I do. And I'm just going to touch on a couple of parts which made me give it a 5. Honestly, I was kind of on the edge of my seat with the Rick thing under the
loved
bed
it.
as
Yeah,
well.
I like that.
I also, one of the parts
That's
that
the
I
only
thought
reason
was...
I gave it a 4.
I feel you.
Yeah.
One of the other parts that I felt was great was the fact that Rick, you can really see that Rick thought it through his escape plan.
Yeah.
Matt, what you got?
I mean, I give it a 0. You don't need.
Oh,
gotta give it a 1.
damn,
1 to 10. It's a 1 to
man.
10 scale.
Wow.
It's a 0.5.
Wow.
It's a 1.
It's a 1.
It's a
Literally,
fucking 1.
literally.
Fantastic
You
gives
don't,
it a 1.
You don't need to
At
watch the
least
show
a
to
1.
know anything that's going on. It's the
Right.
most convenient episode I've ever seen in my life. When you, have
don't
someone
get
bouncing it.
anything substantial from it.
You don't.
I
Nope.
agree. I
Nope.
do. Like I said, there were a couple of points that were enjoyable.
Right?
You know,
Well-
so it didn't bother me that I watched it. But story wise,
So-
you could skip
The
it.
the only and I said this and I really do mean it. The only thing about that episode that's nice is the eye candy of booty shorts and pigtails. Like I'm sorry, it's amazing.
So good.
It's amazing.
Great.
But I mean, you
So
don't
then
need
at
to
least
watch
give it a
anything.
2 for the booty.
2 for the booty.
2 for the
Give it a
booty.
2.
I'll give it a 2.
Thank you.
One
that
for each
booty.
cheek. Now,
It looked like they
Nobody's
knew what they were
carrying that
doing.
shit.
Yeah.
What's
a
in
lot
there?
of bags.
You know,
They totally
nothing
put
but
together a
ammo.
care package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
bet there's
right.
no food in it though.
Holes
Just like the
big enough
prison.
to fall.
Can't
I
take
bet
any
you-
food out the prison.
I don't know.
I
Toilet
fell in a
paper.
plot hole.
We need that.
I found a plot hole.
I fell in it. I fell in
Oh,
a
you
plot
found a
hole.
plot hole?
It was that big.
Yeah.
It's
I found
bad.
mud.
Fair enough.
All
He's
right,
gonna start
That's a
coming out of
general, that's general skip.
It can only go up from here.
It only goes up.
Yeah, well, at the current rate, we've got a blah episode, then a pretty good episode, and another blah episode. So here's hoping for a pretty good episode
it's
next
gonna
week.
So here's to half of a good show.
Yeah.
One half of a good show.
We'll be saying different by the end of it, I think.
Yeah. I think
Oh, we
the
would
build
definitely
was
be
gonna
seeing
hopefully
something
be
different.
good.
All right,
All right, we're
All
out.
right.
see you next week.
Deuces.
Let's get the hell out of here.